Hey everybody, Dave Stallo here, coming at you with another video on those rectangular objects called books. And this video series is going to be called the Bookie Joint, where we talk about all things in literature. Well, just about everything. But today, on the inaugural, I did another video on books, but it wasn't called the Bookie Joint, but so that's what I've decided to do. But today we're going to be going over some stuff by a man I had the pleasure and the honor of meeting. Wasn't well known worldwide, but he had his fan base. Fantastic gentleman. He passed away, I believe, in 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. Had the honor of having him stay at my house a few times. Unfortunately, the last time he was here, it was rainy, but so we didn't get out and about like we usually do. But anyway, man's name is Doug White. Lived in Orchard Park, New York. He'd come out here in the springtime, late winter, early spring, to do research on his next book project, next book in the series. And that series is called the Jake Winter series. Now, the thing you know about Doug, he told me that when he decided to write a book, it was only going to be a one-off thing. It wasn't going to be what it eventually became. It was just going to be about a truck driver doing delivery to a mysterious town. And, took off from there. And the first book in the series called The Load. This came out 2003. Yeah. There's Doug right there. From what I understand, he was still driving this. He wasn't over the road truck driver, and he was still driving when he started this. When I first heard of Doug and his books, I was in the bookstore and happened across the second book, which is the editorial. And it was quite intriguing. Of course, at the time, I did not know about this one. So I started with this one, set it aside, and I think it was probably about 2 or 3 years later, maybe longer. Probably longer than that, because, let's see, this one, the second one, came out in 2004. So I didn't. God, I can't remember when I got in. Started checking out to see if there was other books, but anyway, I ordered, I think, a couple of the later ones, and I'd already ordered the first one, but he sent me personally one of the other ones and wrote if I knew that there were preceding books, and I wrote back and said, yeah. I emailed them and said, yeah, I know, I've got them. And that's when we started corresponding, and then he told me that he was going to be out here at doing a research, and he'd also do book signings. He was going to do a book signing at Hastings. So I went there and met him, and we hit it off, and I told him, well, instead of paying for a camping spot, you can just pull your RV in my driveway, and we'll go out and about and check things out and visit. And so we did that. But anyway, back to the book. Like I said, the first one was about a truck driver named Jake doing a delivery to a mysterious town called Slippery Gulch. And he tried to find this place on the map, and it's nowhere, so he went to, what's the name of the place? I'll just read you the synopsis here. Let's see. Cross-country trucker dispatched to adventure. Dispatch appears to be strictly routine. Pick up a load at a mine in Montana and deliver it to Reno, Nevada. Okay, so he's not delivering something to Montana. He was picking up something. But it doesn't take long before long-haul trucker Jake Winters realized he's being sent to a ghost town to pick up a load at a mine that closed more than 100 years ago. Little does he know that the mysterious pickup is the least of his worries. He is soon accused of a crime that has no logical explanation. So in Doug White's first novel, Low, the over the road, I'll get it out eventually. An over the road mystery. Protagonist Jake Winters takes readers on an unforgettable ride as a cross-country truck driver who finds himself in unusual trouble. Against the beautiful backdrop of the U.S. West, White, who also happens to be an over-the-road trucker, crafts a baffling thriller about an unusual load that mysteriously disappears from a sealed trailer. We first meet Winters behind the wheel of his freightliner as he's being pulled over by the Department of Transportation and the FBI. Initially, he is simply curious about the situation. Certainly, the authorities have no real business with him. But then he learns that his sealed trailer is empty, when it should have been holding a 4,000-pound piece of mining equipment. And the chief suspect in the case of the missing crusher is none other than he. And the days before, Winters has taken a harrowing drive up a mountain road to J&J Mines in Slippery Gulch. He encounters several people in the Old West town, including a wayfish boy and the crusty owner of the mine. Winters chalks it up the obvious lack of modern enmities to the isolated location of the town. But when the mine owner is mystified by the ballpoint pen Winters presents to sign the paperwork, and even the easygoing trucker begins to question the situation. So that's basically the way this whole series starts out. But when we get to the second book, the little boy on the cover of this book takes center stage. His name is Peter. Jake Winters is a cross-country blah, blah, blah. And the first of the family-friendly Jake Winters series, and these are family-friendly. Let me make this up perfectly clear. You're not going to find any harsh swear words. You're not going to find any sexual content. You're going to find nothing but family-friendly literature. Doug told me that that's one of the things he wanted to do was write something without the harshness of what you find in today's books. Now, don't get me wrong. I like reading Dean Koontz. I like reading Stephen King, all them. But at the same time, they can tone down the swearing and all the stuff, but it is what, it is what it is. So anyway, in this book, let's see. So he goes to Slippery Gulch, Montana, blah, blah. It seems that Jake has been picked up for a special, seems that Jake has been picked for a special assignment, but it wasn't his company that picked him. It was an assignment from God. One person you don't want to say no to. Although Jake considers himself Christian and believes in God, he is a convenience Christian. I know that's what I am. He calls on God when he needs him, then conveniently forgets him until the next time. That's something I try not to do, but it's an easy thing to do. But anyway, now God needs Jake. He's been called on to answer the prayers of a child. In Jake's first trip to Slippery Gulch, he meets Peter Stevenson. Peter is a charming little kid, but neglected. On his second trip, Jake learns something far more troublesome. Peter has also been severely abused. After his mother's death, his abuse escalates to murder. His abuse escalates to murder. It is learned that his father murdered Peter in 1901 at the age of 6. Peter is a ghost. Yet Jake is imposed upon to provide the childhood to Peter he never had. Peter grew up lonely, fearful, friendless, and loveless. Jake, a burned-out teacher, doesn't want anything to do with children, and now this. Why is he the one picked for this assignment? Is he up for the task? What if he fails? Does Jake have the patience to deal with a 6-year-old? I probably wouldn't. I don't know. I probably wouldn't be. But not any 6-year-old. Peter died before the Wright brothers flew. His last words as a mortal had been, "Please, Lord, give me a friend." Jake can be the answer to the little boy's prayer for a friend over 100 years ago. It said, can Jake be the answer to a little boy's prayers for a friend over 100 years ago? If so, why? Then there is Peter, although covered in dirt, in rotten clothing, and starving. He is cute. He is also polite, kind, and thoughtful, yet as a living child, he never knew friendship or love. Why? What was his life really like? And why was his final prayer answered? What is this kid? This is a good series. It may not be a lot full of action, like George Martin book or anything. It's a good series. Anyway, Voices in the Wilderness, the second book. Let me just go through these. I'm not going to go through all the synopsis. Third one, The Gift. And Doug told me that that picture, I liked the picture. He did not like the picture. In fact, I think he had it reprinted with a different picture on the front. Fourth one, the funeral, the beginning or the end. Number 5, the separation. Where Peter gets taken away from Jake. Reunion, number 6. Number 7, shifting gears. Number 8, cowboy. Number 9 and number 10 come in one book, the Revelation and the Celebrations. And I asked Doug, why did you put number 9 and number 10 all in one book? And he says, well, they were written, see, he got done with both of them at the same time, so his publisher said, well, why not make it simple and put them all in one? So he did. Of course, what's interesting, if you go to the title end of the second book inside here, well, on the cover, the second book is the Revelations, but in here, it's got down as the wedding. That was the working title. If I remember correctly, that was the working title he went with in the beginning, and it just did not get changed when they published. Here we go. Printer's mistake. The title of this book is supposed to be The Celebration, as it appears on the front cover, not the wedding. Sorry about the mistake, Doug. Of course, he didn't, but anyway. Number 11, fathers and sons. Now, I believe, let's see here. Can't remember. One of these books, at the end, was a start of a mystery. And I think it was with fathers and sons. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, number 12 is the mystery. And it was going to a mystery about some killings. Let's see. In the 12th book of the Jake Winter series, once again, Jake and Peter are preparing for a trip out west. This time, Jake's retired from truck driving or just traveling around an RV, much like Doug himself. In fact, Doug always said he had, there was a ghost of Peter in his trailer. Anyway, they can hardly wait to see their numerous Western friends and visit Peter's mother in Slippery Gulch. When they're there, another party is planned for Peter while they're in Basin's the place where he stops and on his way to Slippery Gulch to find out where it's at. And both of them are excited about celebrating Memorial Day and attending Peter's family reunion. Their happy plans suddenly take a sinister turn 2 months before they leave when Peter tells Jake someone close to them is going to be murdered while they're on the trip. Jake is stunned and asks Peter a lot of questions, but Peter does not have the answers. However, Peter mentioned that he did not hear this from God. This was a gut feeling of his. Of course, both of them hope that he's wrong. So, and it's, if I remember correctly, people are being murdered, and I think children are being murdered at campgrounds. And that brings us to book 13. And unfortunately, this is the last book before Doug passed away. See, an old brown, mysterious Winnebago motorhome has been stalking Jake and Peter across country on their latest trip. Let me start over again. The old brown, mysterious Winnebago motorhome that has been stalking Jake and Peter across country on their latest trip crashed into a small ravine in northern Montana and burst into flames. Before the nearest fire department could arrive, the motorhome is reduced to ashes and the driver was burned beyond recognition. The reign of the serial killer has come to an end, or had it. Peter felt that the driver of the RV that morning was not the killer, but he wasn't. Who was he? And how did the killer get away? Peter also had a premonition. He felt that the worst was yet to come, but how could it get any worse? I was really getting into this mystery. In fact, Doug said he really didn't know how it was going to end. Unfortunately, we'll never know, because I don't know. He said he'd finished the 14th book when he was here last. And this one came out in, let's see, yeah, 2016. I believe he was here in 2016 when he was here last. But anyway, he said he'd finished the next book. He just had to tie up some things. So whether he got it, it was never published, as far as I know. What his family did, or plans to do, I don't know. But anyway, if you run across this series at a bookstore or whatever, have a chance to buy it or read it, do so. It's a fantastic little series. Don't be put off by the mystery at the end not being tied up. And there's so much so much great storytelling here. Like I tell everybody with my books, and Doug said the same thing. He's not a professional writer. He never claimed to be. I'm not one. We just want to tell a story. He just wanted to tell a story. So, and he did. It was a great story. The whole family could get into. Teaches values, great values. Friendship, love. But check them out. That's again Doug White, the Jake Winter series. You'll be glad you did. So anyway, thank you for joining me. Have a good one, and we'll see you. Have a good Sunday, and we'll see you later.